Taurus. I have this nerve damage on my arm and I just accidentally pinched myself. Ah! Pain. What is going on with you right now? Having some nerve pain? Or some after surgery pain or something? A bit scar tissue pain. I had a nerve taken out of my arm and put into my hand, and never healed right. That's what happens when you fucking get drunk and fuck your shit up. There we go. Okay, Taurus. Ooh, love in the midst of a tornado. Oh, you know it. Differences falling apart. Focus. Letting go. No longer trapped. Wow, Taurus. Kind of a little bit of a complicated reading here. Ooh, okay, we just cut it to strength and denial. Okay, so we're taking a huge walk here, Taurus. Come on with me. All right, so we've got love in the midst of a tornado. So, somebody is over being in denial about something. Okay, maybe that life is hard and rough, and if you want something, you have to summon it. You have to work for it. You have to, the world is not going to give you anything. And I think maybe this is somebody's really harsh conclusion that their life has been chaotic and they're the ones that have to calm the storm, right? And if they want to calm this storm, then they have to focus in on letting go of something, okay? You're no longer trapped in what you think you're trapped in, okay? There's movement forward, okay? Even though the movement is indifferent from you. So there is movement coming forward for you, okay? But because you don't anticipate it and because you don't see it, it's not something that you would do. It's actually very different from most things that you would do. You didn't even know you summoned it, right? Because whatever you've summoned put your life in chaos because love was on the line, okay? And that was a very complicated process to put your heart on the line for something, okay? That took a lot of strength to do something, which is why I think you're denying it. It's almost like you're denying your will to create something. Like, I almost feel like you are creating a storm to wipe out the area that's been invaded so then you can be there, right? Again, it's so different from what you're used to. It's not as black and white as what you think it is. It's really like, kind of like, black and yellow or something, black and red, like two totally different things, but in the same category, whereas black and white are completely different. Black and red are almost the same, but still slightly different, right? Something like that. It's like, I almost feel like, okay, and the focus was in reverse and I put it upright, but I'm going to take it and put it back in reverse again because I feel like by you not focusing on something, it summoned something. Because I think you've done something subconsciously here because you've been in so much denial about it that you didn't think it was ever possible because it's so different from you that you just, you put your conclusions aside and moved forward. Like, I don't think that can happen, so I'm going to put it down and I'm going to move forward. okay, in some way, but it didn't get you to where you thought it was going to get you. It got you to the eye of the storm, but the eye of the storm is what's clearing out the place to give you shelter in the future. It's almost like you're coming with a tent or a trailer or a cabin, and you need somewhere to put it. You need to put your life somewhere. But this land has been taken up by somebody else who technically their time is up. Okay. And let me tell you, I just have to say, this has taken an extremely large amount of strength from somebody to be able to do this. Okay. Because I believe that you had to let something go in order to come back to it. Even worse. Okay. Like, I almost see somebody having to leave a dog behind. Okay, with a spouse because they broke up and this person had to move because they started work, but they couldn't take the dog with them and now the dog's coming back, right? It could be something along like it's your heart's on the line. Like, anybody would say, well, listen, my dog's not here. Like, I fucking love that dog. Like, I had a dog, okay? I was given it right after I was massively traumatized and compromised by my stepfather. He gave me a puppy. And this little black, what was she? She was a poodle and a cocker spaniel mix, I think. I've never seen a dog like her before. It was really, really weird. Through all my years, I think I've only seen one dog that has ever looked like her. And I think it was just recently I saw this dog. And we called her Maxie Pad. She was my guardian angel. She, even with my sister, it didn't matter. She was always with me. Always. My sister, if we had bunk beds, she would always take the top bunk, which means Max would always be on the bottom bunk with me, no matter what. She slept straight with me until I was like 18 years old. Then she died. She lived for 18 years, and she slept with me every single night. If she got locked out of the basement, she would cry. If she got locked out of my room, she would cry. Right? She would always sleep with me. And if she wasn't with me sleeping that night, she'd either creep in the middle of the night, or I would find her crying on the outside of my door. Like, she very rarely would ever spend any time apart from me. She was the only dog I ever needed in my whole life. So if I got separated from her, I got separation anxiety. Once she died, that separation anxiety went to my sister. Because usually I was just used to my sister being there, right? Because my sister's been always like my twin, right? We've always been best friends. Didn't matter how old we were. We were together because we lived in awful places together. So we just stayed together all of the time, right? We're still together to this day because we've been so traumatized. People think we're lesbians. We're not. We're sisters. And every guy's fantasy, we're the hottest lesbians in the world. Sure. But we are sisters. We will always be sisters, and we like guys. So we are still together to this day because as of right now, we're the only two people in this entire world that we trust. We don't really trust anybody else. Why should we? Unless you build the trust up with somebody, I ain't just going to give it to anybody. But I'll always try with people. I'll always give people the benefit of the doubt when I can. But I've got myself and my sister always on the front line. Like, there is no way that anybody's coming before us or coming to fuck with us or coming in between us. We don't roll that way. We never will. Okay. So, I don't really know why I told that story or what the beginning of it was. Oh yeah. My dog, my guardian angel. See, I just said it automatically. Like, I just know that that's what she is. I just know. I don't know. I guess when you know, like, I don't know. I just always knew. At 3, I knew that she was my dog. She wasn't anybody else's. She was just mine. It pissed my mom off a lot. And my stepfather. But that's what happens when a dog chooses you. She imprinted on me, and that's what she wanted to do. It's her decision. So maybe this is a dog coming back around, right? And in order for the dog to come back around, you've got to create chaos in this other person's life in order to get the dog, right? Like, maybe they don't want to give it up now. And you're like, that wasn't the deal. Now you're kidnapping him. So the universe is going to light your apartment on fire. Something like that, create a storm, create chaos. All of a sudden they lose their power, their water or something like that. And the dog can't get what he needs. So he's got to go back to you. Like, you could have been in denial about this because you never believed that he would be able to come back. right? Like you have to let go of things, because if you hold on to them, they could ruin your life. Right? Like holding on to things and truly loving things, people will know, like they'll say at the end, love's not worth it, because they just did too much feeling towards them where it went nowhere in their mind. Right? So you have to let things go when you feel like your love is just going to be wasted. Right? And that's a huge defense mechanism in a lot of people, is to suddenly take their energy away from something, thus it not be succubused out, right? So there's definitely like somebody is summoning something, and it's just a different type of movement. It's not quite, I just heard, as cut and dry, right? There might be a couple pretty steep obstacles that you have to take, like say if you have to go pick this dog up and you have to drive through the fucking Rocky Mountains or some shit, right? It could be dangerous where you have to go to get something, and that's why it's use your sense of focus to focus on what you need to, and not what the world is putting in front of you. Right? Like let go of things and know that something is no longer trapped, right? If you're dealing with a soul, they're no longer trapped. If you're dealing with yourself, you're no longer trapped. Okay. And that's just simply by identifying the differences that are kind of compromising your heart. Because why compromise your heart? There's no fucking point anymore, right? Why take something away from yourself? Like it's, that saying, let something go that you love, and if it comes back to you, it's yours, and if it doesn't, it never will. Put it this way, if I let Max go, she always came back. She never left for good and never came back. Same with my sister's dog when we had Marlo. Marlo was an 85-pound German Shepherd, and he was the biggest fucking suck for my sister and I. He wouldn't let my sister and I out of his sight. If he did, he always came back. You didn't even have to call him. Like sometimes he was young. He was only 5 when he died. So the most time that we spend with him was in his, juvenile years. And even in his juvenile years, if he'd be off and he'd be all fucking around somewhere or getting into something he's not supposed to, and we called him a few times, he still came. He never fucked around for longer than like 5 minutes. Right. And that's the average time of a teenager, adolescent, like, okay, mom, give me a minute. I'm looking at something. Okay. And, sometimes what he was looking at was a skunk and he would get sprayed. Right. But then he learned after 3 or 4 times of being sprayed to run away quick. That's what he was learning how to run away quick. So then the spray wouldn't hit him, but it always did. And he was ripped away. My sister's ex-husband refused to give up custody of this dog. So he continued to pick him up every weekend to take him to his house. My sister did not put up a fight about it. She just said, okay, well, if this is what you want to do, he's your dog too. I'm not leaving out there in the country. I want to live right here. So if you want to come pick him up, come pick him up. So they got used to kind of having joint custody of this dog. And then one day, Dan came home. He lived on a farm at the time, so he had a long driveway and out in the boons. And he taught Marlo how to run beside the car. And that was one thing that my sister and I never did. We never let the dog out to run beside the car. That's the most dangerous thing you could possibly do. It was winter. Okay. He would also do this in the winter with him on these side roads. He would let the dog out and run. And I fucking hated it, because then once he got into the farm, Marlo would run beside all of the dirt bikes and run beside the lawnmower and run beside things he shouldn't be running beside because they're dangerous. My friend actually almost hit Marlo with his dirt bike. He bailed on the bike so then Marlo didn't get hit. And Dan didn't care. Dan didn't fucking put him in the house, or he wanted to act like the fun dad all the time. And unfortunately, when you act like the fun dad all the time, you're putting your kids' lives in danger, right? If you want to act like the fun dad, put yourself in danger, not your child. And he let Marlo run beside the car on a snowy, fucking icy day, and Marlo slipped under his truck, got stuck under the wheels, fucking Dan had to rip him out, ripped his whole fucking gut apart, ripped his fucking, basically his intestines out of his fucking stomach, rushed him to the vet, and Marlo died 12 hours later. He actually died twice. They brought him back to life twice. The vet said that doesn't happen. Once a dog dies, a dog dies. Very rarely can they bring the dog back once, but not twice. And Marlo came back to life twice. And then in between dying, my sister was on the toilet peeing, in between going to the vet, and Marlo, she said Marlo came to her on the toilet in his ghost spirit and sat right in front of her. And then the vet called a couple minutes later and said he had died. Again. Like, so she went back, they resuscitated his heart again. She went back to the vet. He was, and like, it was so traumatic. I didn't see him. I didn't go in. I just, they just wanted to be there. I was just out in the waiting room. I didn't go in and see Marlo. Every time somebody came in, Marlo would get really excited and then try to start shaking, and he was cut, you know, from head to toe. And every time he saw somebody, he would get excited, and I didn't want to do that to him. I didn't want to get him excited. And then, you know, he had a big shard of glass in his heart. So they were supposed to call a cardiologist down from Toronto to come and save this dog's life. And it was like the most traumatic thing ever. And all because this guy thought it was a game to let his dog run beside the car. He always wanted to be the top dog dad. You know, I'm so cool. I'm so fun. I'm so awesome. And acted like my sister was the bitch, when Marlo, all he did was respect my sister. It was actually Dan he didn't like. He never liked Dan. He always wanted to be with my sister and I. He never wanted to be with his dad, ever. Dan was an asshole. Dan was never around, never played with him, never supported him, never took him anywhere. You know, he's lazy. He just wanted to be the dad that could say he was a dad and not an actual dad, right? And now this guy's got kids. Like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, do those kids have insurance? Because their dad's probably going to kill them. Because he's the most irresponsible piece of shit I've ever met in my life. Like, some people take things from you. And they don't even have any reason for them. They just want to take them because then you don't have it. Right? And that's when that's compromising your heartstrings right there. Like, they are just deciding something for you. You could get over it. You know how many people asked my sister when she was going to get a new dog? It's been like 3 or 4 years now. She's not even thinking about buying a dog. You don't just replace something because it's dead. Why would you do that? Like, she might never buy another dog again. I don't know. Like, we've talked about it, but we're not in a really good apartment right now to get a dog. So, like, I mean, we've got a lot of room, but just because you got a lot of room, we don't have a backyard. Right? Like, it doesn't matter how much room you have, right? So, like, we've talked about it, and dogs are really expensive. And at the same time, like, the emotional aspect of it is what I'm thinking of, not the cost. It's like, I don't want to get attached to something again, and then it goes. You know, like, you have to decide whether or not what you want is worth it to your heart. Right now, a dog's not worth it. I couldn't even imagine getting close to something and losing it right now. I just wouldn't want to. I don't want to put myself through that. I've been through that so many times. Why line myself up with something if I don't want to? Right? Like, so, I mean, this reading is, now I'm getting this brand new song, and it's, the words he's saying is, a phone call I'd rather not receive. I don't really know what they mean by that message, but I don't know, if you ever listen to the band Brand New, I would listen to them. They're fucking awesome. They're such a great band. They are playing in my head right now, but a lot of it's like mumbling because I don't actually know what he says through majority of the songs. I haven't read the lyrics on it. Okay, anything else you want to say for this reading, animals? Six of Cups, Hermit, Temperance. Ooh. King of Cups. So, okay, so we just got Scorpio, Virgo, and Sagittarius. Okay, what I feel like this is something pretty big, okay, which is why it's labeled as chaos, because it's something that is going to shake you. It's something that it's exciting, but at the same time it's real. Okay, it's like swimming in the ocean and then suddenly this guy's in front of you. Like, it's not going to do anything to you, but it doesn't mean its sheer size isn't terrifying. Okay, so I think even an elephant, Jesus, look at, and an elephant, this is some huge energy. Okay, like a family, like I think something that you love, which is why, you know, I'm reading so much into like the dog, something about a dog or something like that. It's like something is coming into your life. And you are going to love it so much, because your love and your heart have been compromised for so long that when this otter comes into your life, the Six of Cups, okay, when this comes into your life, it's like, I will never love again after this, I swear, right? Which is why you had to let it go. It's almost like you didn't want to be trapped in the feeling of not having something again, maybe. So you opened up your mind. Now I'm getting Gangsta's Paradise in my head by Coolio. As I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I take a look at my life and realize there's nothing left. Cause I've been blasting and laughing so long that even my mama thinks that my mind is gone. But I ain't never crossed a man who didn't deserve it. Leave me treated like a punk, you know that's unheard of. You better watch out, you're talking and where you're walking. Or you and your homies might be lying in chalk. I really hate to trip, but I got... As they croak, I see myself in the pistol smoke. Boo. Like on my knees in the night, saying prayers under street lights. Man, what is this? Like, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if you have been living in the ghetto and you're suddenly not going to be living in the ghetto anymore, or working in the ghetto, or feeling like you're in the ghetto, you know, like keeping, like acting like you are, keeping something away from you, like you don't deserve it. You know, keeping your focus on something else, on just letting it go all the time. And really you need to be, you know, like, it's like maybe something comes into your life that you think, well, I don't want to trap you. So you just like keep the door open all the time. Like, you know, those, kind of dodo videos of people who get these stray animals that just wander into their backyard, and they just, over, you know, the next course of a couple days or weeks or months or whatever, they just start opening up their door and trying to get this animal to come in, but the animal doesn't ever feel like it's allowed to come in because it's never been in a house before, so it's super terrified, right? And it's like almost like that. It's like something comes into your life and you just kind of like leave the door open for it, you know, like you just kind of go like, okay, like there's no obligation to stay. If you want to go, you can always go. Like, I'm not going to force you here. I'm not going to chain you. I'm not going to hold you captive. I'm not going to trap you in a cage. I'm going to keep you let go, you know, like maybe that's what this whole thing is about, with the let go and the trapped in reverse. Right? Like anybody who has ever felt trapped in something, it's like basically the worst thing in the world. Okay? Like feeling trapped in something is it's not a good feeling. Okay? And once you give that up, and once you go like, okay, for one, nothing can truly trap you. I mean, even if you get married, there's things called divorces, okay? Like, and not everybody wants to steal something from somebody and take everything that they have, okay? Some people want to just leave people, make sure that they can still hold their own and walk away. Like, not everybody's a fucking scheming fucking bitch ass that just wants to take your money or your foundation or everything you've worked hard for, blah, blah, blah. Okay, some people are actually decent in this world. Okay, so I feel like maybe somebody from your past, okay, that truly loves you is going to come back. Like something from your past that loves you is coming back. Okay, and whether or not it's like Pet Cemetery kind of shit, you know, like a dog died and then you get a new dog and you're like, Marlo? That would be, or Max, you know, like your ex dog, like, are you in there? Right? Like maybe it's going to be something like that. Or like, for instance, I always think that my vehicles have like dragons in them, or like some type of animal spirit, because like when you have a car for a long time, you and that car or truck or van, whatever, you know, communicate. Okay. You start to get this like sixth sense over your vehicle because you spend so much time with it. If you appreciate it, if you love it, if you listen, you know, for foreign noises while you're driving around, just to make sure, you know, like you care about your life, you're going to care about your car. Right. So maybe somebody had like a fucking, you know, 1969 fucking Ranchero or something like that, and they want to bring it back, you know, and suddenly a new one just walks into their life, or you know, like you just don't know what you could have lost in the past that could be coming back. But it's something that loved you too. So of course it wants to come back. That's the thing. Like sometimes things get derailed and people get derailed, or jobs get derailed, or vehicles get derailed, and dogs get derailed, and cats, you know, don't get born and things like that. And then suddenly they're in front of your face again. You know, the phone call I'd rather not receive. It's like that. I'm still getting that kind of notion. Like this is like maybe this person is just going to call you, and when they do, you're going to be like, I don't really know if I want to receive this call. Like, why is this person calling me? It could be something like that. I wonder if are you just going to get the call? We got to basically end this reading. Yeah, like, I don't know, maybe you had a fight with this person, or you think they're going to fight you. There's a fear here that you think they're going to fight you, or that you think that they're going to be angry with you and come at you, and they're not. It's actually the opposite. They're humbled now. Okay? This is quite an emergency for them to reach out to you. They don't have the will to fight you anymore. Like that's just, you know, they could have been crazy in the past and you thought that was going to kind of be what was going to come out of them again, and it really isn't. Not that I can see. I mean, always take what resonates, leave what doesn't. If this doesn't sound like them at all, please don't take it as in they're not going to hurt you when they could. But this doesn't seem like it though. The oldies and the goodies. Look at this. Revisiting the oldies and the goodies from the past in these cold months. Right? So I do feel like you are going to get like some type of visitation or something from a friend. And the thing is I think this person is a lot like you. Like a lot like you. Like I call myself, I don't call myself, but I kind of like see myself a little bit as like a loser. Like, I don't really have any friends. I don't really do anything. Like, I don't know what a loser. I don't lose anything, but I definitely don't gain too much, right? So I feel like maybe this person is very much like you, okay? They're basically your double in another person. They've got the green light to go. You might think there's some backstabbing, gossiping bullshit, or maybe you guys like to gossip together. Maybe you guys like talking shit about people, you know? Maybe you guys like sitting around talking about things. Maybe that's what you're going to do. Maybe when this person gets a hold of you or you run into them in some way, like the oldies are coming back to replay some really good memories for you. If you've been thinking about somebody or getting some nostalgia with somebody could be coming back around. And they've definitely balanced themselves. You know, they could have went from hot to cold really easily, and now they're way more mellow, right? They could have been this really small energy before, and now they're very big. They've grown into their energy. They've grown into their size, right? Because you know, I think you both were able to let go of everything, because like, you really have to let go in order to come back. Right? If you don't let go, then you're still hanging on. And if you're still hanging on, then somebody can't fully leave. But once you actually let them leave and go, and then they find their way back anyways, or you find your way back to each other, like That's some faded ass shit. And it doesn't matter what it is, if it's an animal, if it's a person, if it's a situation, if it's a job, you know, sometimes you have to walk away from things in order to find your way back. Right? Like I said, with a town, sometimes, you know, if you left a town back in the day, like a hometown that you lived in, you had to leave because there was something could have been following you around. There's something that could have been kind of like torturing you or doing stuff to you. And then you had to leave and now you're finding your way back. Right? Yeah, definitely somebody had to get something away from them, and the squirrels just got into a fight on the roof. So clearly, you know, the last time you talked to this energy, you might have had a fight. You might not have talked to this person for 10 years. But love is love. You know, you forgive, you forget, you move forward. Right? I mean, I have been seeing some people that I haven't seen for, like, I saw this guy yesterday. I haven't seen him for 10 years. And we looked at each other like, this is amazing. Like, I get to see you now. Oh my God. Like, I, the other day alone, got 3 hugs from people that I hadn't seen for fucking ever. Just 3 hugs. No big deal. Haven't gotten hugged for like years. So, I mean, some people, you know, they're just out there. You've got family members out there, you know, and by family members, I mean people that you've made your family along the years that are just waiting for you. They're waiting for you to come back. They're waiting for you to reconnect with them, you know, and be a part of their lives again. You know, like, why wouldn't people be waiting for you? Of course they are. So this is kind of like somebody's definitely summoning something into their life that they don't quite see coming. I don't really know what to say or how to channel the title of this reading, but I'll think of something pretty good. Anyways, Taurus. Oh my gosh, look what's on the bottom there. Success. Congratulations. That's fucking pretty badass right there. Just sitting there waiting for me to see like success. So there's something being mastered right now. There's a conclusion coming, and there's definitely a new road ahead that somebody didn't anticipate. So like I said, always say, take what resonates, leave what doesn't. If it doesn't resonate, don't take it. Sometimes it can be more confusing than anything. Okay, for personal readings, whitneymoonshine@gmail.com. If not, just enjoy the channel. Obviously, monthly memberships $4.99. Refunds are obviously available. Readings every 2 to 3 days, okay, or 3 to 4 depending on my work schedule. But yeah, anyways, I hope you enjoyed this. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. Taurus, thank you so much. You guys are the best. Peace out, and obviously, word to your mothers.